Welcome to the GameDev.tv Community Podcast. I'm your host KB, and I would like to introduce you to industry professionals and people who successfully made their path to the video game industry. I hope that you will enjoy the podcast and get useful tips that will bring you closer to achieving your dreams. Now, let's get right into the podcast. But yeah, so welcome to the show. It's the GameDev.tv podcast. So can you just tell the fans, the GameDev.tv community, everyone a little bit about who you are, and then we'll go from there.
As they said, my name's Ritvik, and basically, so right now I'm located in India. That's where I was born, not exactly brought up there. So I completed my education here. I did my middle school, high school, and graduation in computer science, BTech from India itself. And right now I'm working here as a full-time indie game developer.
Awesome. I bet it's like you living a dream, right?
I mean, not yet. I'm getting there.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
just the first step. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So did you start programming when you were younger, or did you just do that in high school and college?
Well, I had a knack for computer programming when I was like in seventh grade, so say like 13, I guess. But it wasn't anything very big. It was just basic curiosity, like how does this work? How does that work? And just a few turbo C++ code back in the day, and then I think I knew that I had a thing for programming, so I opted for a programming subject when I was in high school. So we learned the basics there, like properly. We were educated there, and then after that, I knew that I'm gonna take game dev seriously. So I was like, okay, it's time to maybe get a degree in computer science itself. So right.
Wow. And then when it comes to like programming for games, did you always know you wanted to do that, or you just did programming and then eventually you found that gameplay programming is your favorite?
Yeah, so it was programming at first, but then so the thing is that, we probably everyone in the industry, most of us, at least 98% of us, are always all gamers since the beginning. That's why we are in this industry in the first place. Yeah, so so even I had my good days, but the thing that hit me regarding game development programming itself, particularly, it was, I think, in high school. It was when I experienced Uncharted 3 on my PlayStation 3. So
yeah, it's such a good game.
yeah. So after the game, they had after the credits, they had their behind the scenes videos play. So that was completely new to me, and I was like, oh hey. And by the time I was pretty into programming, so I was like, if they can do it, like it looks pretty creative. So why not just make your two passions together, just bring them together.
I love what you said too. See, if they can do it, then like, why can't you do it? And then bring both your passions together. You love video games, you love programming. Why not just? You would think logically that would be the best choice. That would be most fun for you.
Exactly. So I was fortunate. I knew where I was going. Many people decide later on, actually. At least here, I've noticed that.
Well, because they don't know for sure. Like, you got probably fortunate to find that you are good at programming and you can put them together, which is awesome. That's good for you to find that, because it's hard for people to find their passions and their things early on. And it's not that it's better to find it early on, but it is like you get a head start, essentially. You get to practice it while you're young. We have all your free time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot in computer science in general, like arts. But other careers, I see people like discovering themselves in their like mid-20s, maybe even late 20s.
Yeah, true. Completely true. Most of the graduates from here don't have no idea yet, like, which specialization are they going to do.
Yeah, and that's tough because it's hard to become a valuable asset when you're not specialized in something.
Yeah.
And when it comes to creative stuff like programming, art, writing a book, stuff like that, to me, I feel like it's something that you have to spend a lot of time on. It's not something you just take a few tests, get certified, and be like, all right, I'm this. It's more like you actually have to constantly learning new things, constantly creating. Yeah, so it's
you gotta have a lot of patience.
But it's always more rewarding. I feel like people, if you get it right, not everyone, but if you can get like this game development right or program right, it's more rewarding. You feel like you're actually pushing yourself, you're actually getting stuff done. Where I've seen other people in other professions where it's kind of just too easy, that they feel bored or they feel like they're not achieving a lot of things. And it's just interesting seeing that and seeing people in the game community being like, "Oh no, we're getting after it. We're making this. We're doing that. I've learned all these skills." I'm like,
Exactly.
"Dang, what?"
Even in my case, to be honest, like here, even programming in general, like software engineering in general, there was a point that I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I need to go there. Will I get bored? That's why games hit, because in games you get visual feedback, like you
Hmm.
actually see things move because of you. So it's like you're doing art with binary.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah, just
Zeros to make
it
art.
pumps you up.
Exactly. Now, how do you like schedule your day? Do you feel like you have like a handled on your day? How you get all your tasks done, all that stuff?
Well, to be honest, it's been a roller coaster regarding schedules,
Yeah.
because like especially when starting off, and when you're working for indie studios, you can try your best to keep like a 9 to 5 kind of thing, but it doesn't always go that way.
Now, how come? Is it just it's
Uh,
just the industry itself, the work you have to do,
yeah,
the studios? Yeah.
right. So the thing is, like in India, right, the gaming market is very like has high potential but hasn't got there yet. So game development here itself is a different story. Even pursuing game dev is pretty rare.
Hmm.
I mean,
How come? It's because of the society, or just not enough studios and.
no, I mean, yeah, exactly. So it's been like a few recent years that they, new studios, and the game market has been. So it's because of the development of Android phones and all. Like, who would have thought, like, there would be a time that we'd be able to run good functional games, like big games, on your mobile devices.
No, it's
And
crazy.
yeah, and according to India's population and economy, thinking, like for an average family, everyone necessarily doesn't have a console or a PC. So the large amount always game on their mobile.
Mm. Oh, that's
So
interesting. I never thought of it
yeah,
like that. Like the whole entire country, because not everyone has a phone. I mean, a PC or console. They're making
exactly.
games. They're playing games on their phones. So then now the whole entire like game development community in India has to like push out better, more fun, very more
Yeah.
immersive and filled
So
with tons of content games. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. And it's just probably gonna. You, I bet. So you
yeah,
work for a company that does mobile games?
yeah. So it's like, so the market is pretty different here, like I said. So for example, it's because of so there are different prices, right? Like for example, if the PS5 has been launched for like $500,
Hmm.
499 to be exact. But in India, when it comes like shipment and everything, it just raises the price so high that normally all families, like the average family, can't afford it.
Yeah. It's what, like
So
500? What's the currency in India?
I think it's $1 is, I think, 75 rupees.
So yeah, so it's like what, 50,000 rupees to get a PS5? It's
Yes.
insane, right? Because that just doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
exactly. So that's
Wow.
why everyone's concentrating on mobile. Which is why it's funny, because when I started game development, my ultimate goal was to maybe someday into a AAA, work on consoles and now. So I picked up Unreal Engine, but there's a huge scarcity of studios who use Unreal Engine here. So because everyone's mostly on Unity.
That makes sense because Unity is really good for mobile games, whereas Unreal
Exactly.
isn't really. Yeah, it's just
So
tough.
even like I'm talking during the time where Unreal, like right now, Unreal's doing a pretty good job with the marketplace. The monthly free assets that they do. But back then, that wasn't the case, and Unity had very liberal free stuff on their asset stores that anyone could pick up.
Mm, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Now,
go
Yeah.
back
So
not that long,
yeah.
Unreal was like paid straight up. Like it changed like what, 5 years ago?
oh really? I didn't know that. I started using Unreal like
Yeah,
4 years ago. Yeah.
yeah. I think it started being free in 2015.
Dang. That explains what. Yeah, because the Unreal course came out the year after. And
I
how
think
much
back
did
in
it cost?
2016.
Yeah. How much did the Unreal cost back
Uh,
then, Ricardo?
I have no idea. I remember
Not sure.
reading
I
the
don't remember
news.
actually.
Yeah, I saw the news that it was free. That's all I remember.
You were like, what? That's crazy.
That's why, like, I mean, many developer here, many indie studios are still in their, startup phase right now. They're trying to make a name for themselves in the mobile market. So you won't find many Indian console. Actually, there's a shout out to the game Raji. It's probably India's first indie game to come to release fully on console.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
This started something new,
it
yeah.
released this August, and yeah, so it gave people hope that you can reach there.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. That there should be hope. It should be a push to continue to expand and grow these game studios so they can start making stuff for consoles, that people can start buying consoles, and it's gonna take a
Exactly.
while, but I think yeah,
Yeah.
just have hope. And then also, I'm curious, does when you become a game developer, like decide you're gonna do that, does everyone assume it's like, hey, I'm gonna do a game development here, or do people try to go somewhere else, like Poland or America, to do game development, or is that just out of the question? Is that just too expensive?
It's actually, yeah, it's the last one that he said. Like no one
Yeah.
just like, if especially even in my case, I was like, okay, well, right, it's a different thing that a few other universities have got their own game development courses,
Hmm.
and like diplomas and all in game design, so they're educating people. But it's been pretty recent for such stuff. It wasn't always so if someone picked up game development, it was always being self-taught.
And that probably wasn't easy for everyone, being self-taught.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know. When was this? Like what? 5 years ago? 3 years ago? Being self-taught? Are we talking about like long term?
No, no, no. I'm talking long term. Like it's been these universities have been going on around. The popularity has been recently increasing.
Hmm.
It's just that like in my case, I never went to such a specialization college, but I'd rather I went to Udemy. I told you, right, like when we talked first, that GameDev.tv was my go-to.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Well, because
so
yeah, that's. I was gonna get into that in a second, but continue.
yeah, no, 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 you can
Oh yeah. So what I was gonna say is that like the thing when I meant by
if
it's
you're going
harder
further.
long. Oh yeah, it's harder long term is because there wasn't a lot of resources like we have now. Like there was no Brackeys,
Exactly.
no YouTube, no Udemy, no GameDev.tv. So I mean, learning stuff was really just trial and error, and see where you could possibly go, yes or no. But for now, you got like a GameDev.tv, or you even got Home Team Game Dev, which is these just resources are allowing it to be so easy to just be with people, game developers, learn your
Right,
skills,
right.
practice something, make your own games. And in fact, I think it might even be better to go to school for whatever like specialization. Like maybe if you want to do programming, you go for computer science programming, and then you learn game development on the side.
Exactly. That's like the perfect spot.
Yeah. And then like if you want to do art, you go and learn like all the art stuff, and then do
Yeah.
game art or game concept art on the
Yeah.
side. That way you can like learn all that good stuff and learn all the game stuff, and you get like different perspectives, and it's you're set off for like whatever you want to do. Because I hear gameplay programming degrees aren't that good, but programming degrees are good,
Exactly.
and you could just yeah, so stuff like that
That's
like
because
make
they
you.
don't touch every topic.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go in depth.
Yeah. So I think that's the way to go. Way to go is go if you do want to go to school for whatever main thing you want to do, and then learn game stuff on the side. Cause
Exactly.
and of course, it's like GameDev.tv, 85% off. Just saying.
No, that's the best part. Like it's affordable for everyone, and the quality. I can vouch for it for everyone who's listening.
We're just we're,
That right. If you guys are if anyone's setting an example of mine of where I am, it's because of their channel.
oh,
So I'm pretty
thank
sure. Like I still have many colleagues of mine who are just starting out game development, or who others I have met whose everyone's journey started from GameDev.tv, like the top Udemy go-to class.
that's crazy. That's look at that.
Yeah.
The GameDev.tv is just changing the lives of people all around the world.
Yeah, one I have to say one downside of the amount of resources we have nowadays is that it's actually very easy to be lazy as well. Like to just follow
Yeah, people.
uh,
Exactly.
those tutorials on YouTube and like not try to do it by yourself, so you don't
That is
actually
so
learn
true.
anything. You just
That's,
absorb a bunch of nothing for like 10 hours.
yeah.
Then you have a working, well, mechanic or whatever, but you don't
Yeah.
actually learn it.
You don't actually know how to do it. Like somebody
Yeah.
asks, "Well, how'd you build it?" You're like, I don't know. I just followed the tutorial. I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no, actually, no. That's a big one, Ricardo, because that's been my problem for like 2, 3 years ago, where I was just like, I'm taking all these courses, doing all this stuff, but I don't feel like I know how to do anything. It's like it's cool, I made it, but when you ask me how to
So
do it, I'm like,
that's where the saying goes, right? If you want to learn game dev, you gotta make games on your own.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
So what kind of games do you
exactly.
make? Do you make big games or small games?
I want to make big games, but I end up making small games.
There you go. You don't make WoW.
Yes. I was
So
having this conversation like 3 days ago, actually. A guy was telling me on the clan chat saying, "Oh yeah, I try to make games all the time, and I tried like 4 or 5 times to do something, and but I never finished them." And then I said, "Yeah, I think you're making your projects too big. Try to make something small." And then he said, "Yeah,
right,
probably."
right, right. That's why these courses cover up many small topics. The projects are pretty small, but they cover a lot of technical stuff at the same time.
No,
So
that's really
that's
the
why.
big thing, especially with a lot of these tutorials. A lot of it is the mechanic. A lot of them aren't the best, but on YouTube, a lot of it is trying to teach you different things so that you can go do it on your own. GameDev.tv, I think, does it best because they give you the challenge and they say actually do it on your own, and then you feel like, all right, cool, like I'll do the challenge and stuff. But the idea is that you have to take what they did and then just change it to whatever you need it for. I've noticed that people ask
So
some of these questions and it's like, yeah, we can't show you every single thing you want to do, but we can show you some of the basics, and then you can just kind of tweak some things and do it on your own. Solve your own problem.
exactly. So basically, because YouTubes mostly are like, just go to tutorials, like they just do it and you just got to watch and copy it. In the case of, I don't know, GameDev.tv, I've seen Rick and Ben just go deep down explaining every bit. They might write one line of code, but they'll, speak the history of it.
Yeah.
So like it's a good thing. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, the courses are pretty charming too, so you never get bored. So the point is that if you're writing even one line of code, knowing why you're writing that is pretty important. And I learned this the hard way.
Oh, I think we all did. But yeah, tell me
Yeah.
the story about how you learned this.
You mean like game development?
Yeah, yeah. Like we said, you learned it the hard way. Like, so what was the
Yeah.
experience like?
So that's because the thing was like I said, I started with the first time I picked up game dev, it was through Unreal Engine.
Hmm.
So it was Ben's course
Yeah, the
back
Unreal.
in 2016. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So at that time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into this. I completed the course, and I did a few, internships. But the
Hmm.
problem was that I wasn't getting many opportunities, concrete opportunities that would give me a big chance to learn or, get into the industry, at least one step closer. So I had hit a wall because there was, like I said, there's a scarcity for Unreal Engine in India.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I got to learn Unity now. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to, go through a course again. Just like yeah, he said, everyone gets lazy at one point.
Hmm.
So even I was like, I'm not
You're
sure
like,
to learn Unity. So what I did was I bluffed on one of my resumes at that point. I was like, hey man, I gotta fake it till you make it.
oh God, no. See.
And then I mean, this is a pretty bad example, but it worked out for the best. It's because when I got hired at the office itself, I started picking up stuff and doing it on my own. So I was learning while working full time.
Wow, dude. Okay, dang, that's not easy though. You can't just
So
go and be like, "Oh, I'm a gameplay
exactly.
programmer." Like, how'd
Yeah.
you do that? How'd you?
Yeah. So what's funny was I didn't my first Unity internship wasn't a game company. It was
Mm,
actually an electronics company who made embedded systems and all that. So they had certain projects that they wanted Unity as servers or like third party bridges. Like for example, the first project that I worked was a basic. You'll have your TV screen, and then if you can put it in an exhibition, and when people come in, they can take a selfie on your phone, and just slingshot your phone, and it just splashes your image on the screen. So they wanted that through Unity.
okay.
So so it wasn't. So my point is, I when I first entered Unity's world, I didn't have any game dev experience, but I learned about the engine itself, which I see that most people actually don't do when they learn game dev. They're like, okay, okay, this is a game, this is how you make it, and that's it. What helped was to learn about the engine itself.
Yeah, because that's another thing too with these courses. You're learning two things at once: the engine and the programming. So
Exactly.
Unity is not. It's just like anything else you use, like Word or Blender. There's a lot of things you just don't know. But the thing is, though, I've also noticed that you don't need all the tools
Right.
on there. You just need to learn like the basic things,
Whatever
kind
you
of like
need.
yeah, like kind of like Word. And then the other things, if you need it, you go figure it out, and it's cool. It's got all these tools and stuff. But you can get a lot done if you just learn the basics of Unity, you know the fundamentals of programming, and you're ready to solve problems. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. If you're doing something new every few years, you're not really doing it right, even if you're working with the same tools.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're not just shouting and screaming at your screen at the middle of the night, like I just did it the way it should be done, but it's not working. Things are not going right.
Probably.
Oh man. You know what's funny? I was trying to solve an Unreal problem, and it spent like 5 hours, didn't work. I put it away, came back the next day, was talking to my friends, and I solved it in like 2 seconds. I was like, "Are you serious?"
Oh, that's pretty.
I was
That's the
like,
weirdest thing
"Wow."
that.
Oh man, because I was actually doing it. I was screaming at the screen. I was like, "Why aren't you working? You're supposed to be working. Everything is right." And then I looked at it, and I was like, "Oh, it's got the wrong mesh name. It's getting the mesh when I already have the mesh set up
Oh,
and stuff like that." So I was like,
that's even more frustrating when it's just one single string destroying
"Yeah."
your whole life.
Yeah, exactly, because you think it's something else, and yeah, but I figured it out. I was so happy. I was like, yes, it's working.
I just go to sleep. I sleep over my problems.
Yes.
It's Ricardo's
Yeah,
method.
it
It's
works so
perfect.
well.
It does, though. It does.
It's usually before you fall asleep, actually. Usually I get the answer like in bed, like almost falling
Dreaming?
asleep. Oh,
Oh,
no,
okay.
just when you're just in bed relaxing and then you realize, oh yeah, I should just do that, right? Ah, okay. And then yes, please note it down. Don't forget it.
Right, put a note. Put it next to your
Yeah,
line.
I send myself an email. It works so well.
Oh, that's true. That's a good one. Yeah, I use the Apple Notes on my phone. I just put it in there, and sometimes you get lost in
Yes.
there, but it's okay. It's there.
Yeah. And eventually you see it, yeah.
hmm So then, did you ever take the Unity GameDev.tv course, or did you just learn from working?
Well, yeah, no, I did take it, but ended up, getting my hands dirty, and so I couldn't complete that course. But fortunately, my colleagues and my close friends, whoever needed to learn, I always had that course in handy.
Mm, okay. Now, what was your favorite part about the Unity course? Did you complete like the first half? Did you get some of those games done?
I don't actually remember. It's pretty. It was
A while ago.
the course that I completed for in case of game dev was the Unreal Engine one, the Unity one. I think I was it Space Shooter. I don't
Oh,
remember.
the Space Invader one.
I think I reached till yeah, Space Invader, or I just directly jumped on the last project, the Plantwood kind of
Hmm,
game. I don't remember the name though.
that's fine. So, when you got into the job, the first job that you were into, did you were you said afterwards basically like once you felt comfortable, you were like I can do any gameplay programming position. I'm just ready to like get into the industry.
So the thing is, since the teams, right, in India, they're pretty small, like most of them. So you can't just say that you're a gameplay programmer.
Mm,
So you're basically just, for example, you're a game programmer, and they'll basically give you any task. Like you'll probably have to get your hands dirty all around the department. Like not just the gameplay, maybe some server side, some front end, some UI, then gameplay. So it's not just one task that you do.
hmm
So when I got my first job, by then I was pretty confident because during my engineering years, I freelanced as much as I could.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I by then I had like 3 years of experience in getting shouted on by your boss and try to make deadlines by midnight.
Oh my gosh. Hey, but you did
Yeah,
it.
so
You faked it until you made it.
yeah, exactly. I'm, I mean, at that point, when I started off that "fake it till you make it" thing phrase, I was like, okay, if I'm bluffing about this, I might as well, learn it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So
It
I
does
mean, it's pretty
help.
bad advice, but it does push you.
Of course, you don't want to be like, you don't want to feel like a fool. You
Yeah.
want to
But
show them
but
like,
but
yeah.
there's a huge difference. Like when you're freelancing, and when you're a solo dev, that experience is completely different from when you're working on an industrial level with a whole team. Uh, so that's what I saw most, like the most difference was because when you're doing a solo dev, there's no one monitoring you.
Mm.
So probably it's just your own way, and I used to be like, okay, I'm just gonna get the job done. So this is from a fresher's perspective. That the mistakes that I did was basically, I'd be like, okay, they want this thing, this is the game design, and no matter how it goes, I'll just make it and I'll make it work. As long as it works, it's fine.
Mm.
So, but after graduation, after getting my first job, I learned that there's a lot of things that you got to look after, especially the reusability of your programming, the scaling, and if someone else from your team wants to work with you, or someone else has to replace you, it's got to be understandable. So you got to think a lot about it, depending on the scale of the game.
Hmm. And make sure you don't make it too big. Don't make well. But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, no, that's important. And then also wanted to get into your certifications. You got what? You did like a ton of hackathons and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
How
So
what was that like?
it's funny because what I wanted to do were game jams, but unfortunately, I was too afraid to do them alone, and
Mm,
I suck at art.
same. We're
So
pretty bad.
yeah,
I know the
so I couldn't
feeling.
I couldn't get a team. So I was like, okay, my roommate back in college, he was pretty always hyped up about these hackathons and all. So I was like, okay, I might as well join. I got an excuse to maybe travel from university to a new place, meet new tech savvy people. So most of the hackathons that I did didn't like I couldn't involve any game development, unfortunately. It was mostly Android applications or things like machine learning and all.
But those help a lot, right? Because those like I've never done a hackathon, but I feel like it's like putting your program skills to the test because it's like what
Yeah, it's
nonstop
a
hack
fun
coding.
experience. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like if you're doing it with a group of friends that you enjoy being with, it's just fun. Even if you don't end up winning it or don't have a finished product by the end, it's still a fun experience because you get to meet a lot of new people.
Hmm. You won what once as first place and another time as second place, and you
And
reached finalist.
you'll be pushing yourself. Yeah, so once I was first, and then in a few became second, and others were. So there, it depends on the hackathon. So there are different types of hackathons. So some hackathons, you had to clear certain rounds before you went to the venue for the finals.
Hmm.
So in those, yeah, we made it to the finals, but and if it's not a software hackathon, hardware always beats software. So I
Really?
just
How
thought it was
come?
biased. Yeah, I mean, no comments, but their judgment wasn't that right. I'm calling it right now.
I'm calling right now. Not right.
Yeah,
Oh man, that sucks. But still, it's really cool, dude. Congrats on getting first for that one.
thanks. That was actually even the our my first hackathon experience was also a fake it till you make it experience.
You know what?
I
That's gonna
mean,
be the title of this podcast. Make it to make it with Ritvik Menon.
no, it's because it's actually a funny story. So we used to take funding from our university to travel, right, to that set place for the hackathon, and we had taken their money, booked the tickets, but it was a government hackathon, but the government had postponed it. So we were like, okay, we already used the money. What should we do now? So we contacted the hackathon's organizers, and they're like, okay, there's one more hackathon, but it's nothing regarding the tech that you were about to do. It's related to blockchain. So
Oh.
so if you guys could learn blockchain on the way and pull off something, you guys can come. So we're like, okay. We jumped on the train. It was a 72-hour journey, and in those 72 hours, we had our Udemy courses, our torrent courses, everything on. And within 72 hours, we're gonna learn this shit.
Wow, dude, that's learning
Did you just
blockchain.
say a 72-hour journey?
Oh yeah. That was because we didn't get any flight tickets. It was last moment, so we had to travel by train.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess it was perfect
Yeah,
though. Gave you time
yeah,
to.
exactly. For the situation, we got all the time to learn. We were at the station, just the station Wi-Fi, just trying to complete the course. It was a 72-hour course.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it was a fun experience.
Fake till you make it. We're gonna go on a train across India, learn blockchain, and how did you win that hackathon? Did you like?
I mean, we did get a certificate.
Oh, we did.
So it was funny because we had our tutorials on, and the judges were just, being like tutorials while working. So it was a different experience. It was quite fun.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it with my team. So we had this, four, like including me, we were four guys. Two of our college seniors, and we two were freshers. Me and my roommate, and it was just we were like, we're gonna go on this. We're gonna take the risk, and it's cheers to them.
Cheers to you guys. Do you still do stuff with blockchain, or is it just that one time thing?
You know what? I actually tried thinking about, maybe. So GitHub, I think, had one opportunity, like some game jam chain, like you build your game on blockchain. But the thing was that I couldn't go all the way. Like I tried making a game on blockchain, but it was like I got stuck and then I left it.
Oh no. Yeah,
Yeah,
blockchain is a whole other thing in itself. It's like
yeah, true.
I know he's making a game of like basically he uses the blockchain or like the crypto price as a way to like either give your towers more power or less powers, and it's like a crypto tower
Oh,
defense game. It's one of the best things like ever,
that's
and
awesome.
you need to play it when it comes out. But here's a little like here's what it looks like, and it's a trailer. Yeah, but I love the idea of like because the idea is to teach people too about crypto and blockchain while playing the game. You can learn about what Bitcoin is, Litecoin is, what's a blockchain, what's a hash, what's a block, what's all
Yeah,
these things, and then
right.
because people don't really know, and then as Bitcoin keeps because right now I think it's at 14,000. It's just rising. Yeah, 1497.
Right.
Can you believe that, guys? And the highest ever been was 20,000. What do you think is gonna be the next high? Like
Yeah.
what? Wait, what the heck? It's insane. But yeah, so that's cool. And then any games? How many games have you made? Like on your own
I
projects?
mean, so unfortunately, I haven't had my own personal game come out because, like, my dream game is still waiting. I'm trying to find a team for it,
Mm.
and the time for it.
That's true.
But
But
yeah,
I was gonna say, what about the other little smaller projects? Like not like maybe a
yeah,
big game, but like what? Yeah.
yeah. So most of the things, like we used to like one of the in the one of the podcasts previously you had mentioned like we do these tutorials, right? So even if you don't have your own idea, you can always make them your own game.
Okay.
So right, I used to do those things like I used to take on them and then redo it or like kind of reverse engineer it and to make it a complete different game just using the same mechanic. So but the most of the games that I developed on my portfolio are in for freelance projects or other clients that want to like it's been mostly hyper casual 2D 3D shooters or poker.
Yeah. Poker. I see the poker, Texas Hold'em, Tetris. Did
Yeah,
that one in
so
C++.
the first big project that I worked was when I got my first full-time job. So they already had a product. So it's the first company that I work for. They have a online cricket multiplayer. So on mobile.
Oh wow. Okay.
Uh, yeah, so they had been developing it for around 2 years before I joined. So the game already existed. We just kept updating it, improving it. So that was the first time I worked on a big project. But the next big project actually is the one I'm working right now for the current studio I'm in. So it's unannounced, but like I'm not sure if you know, but do you know that PUBG is banned in India?
What's band? Top G?
PUBG.
Oh, PUBG. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, pu-
I didn't know that though.
yeah. So PUBG made famous in India, and it got banned. So they just
Why
closed
did
the
it get banned? Because
servers
of the
yesterday or day
violence?
before yesterday. No, no, no. There's been some refute between India and China. So India banned a lot of Chinese apps, and PUBG was one of them.
Hmm.
So
That's
since
that's annoying. But yeah.
like there hasn't been a moment. So that's what so currently I'm working on that, like trying to make a BR that completely shows India.
A VR that completely shows India, like
Yeah,
Google
a
Earth.
battle royale. No, no, like battle royale game, BR.
Oh, that'd be cool. And it's like in India, like
Yeah.
you can drop into one of the cities in India and
Yeah, it's like the map's gonna be Indian influence. So you might have like temples, different scenic villages. Probably maybe by the end of this year we'll have a trailer for it.
oh, that's
So
exciting. You gotta send that to me.
uh, yeah, sure, sure. So we're trying to be the first Indian battle royale.
That's a noble goal. Oh, that's a.
Yeah,
I wish you
it's
guys
a
the best.
race against time.
Yeah, it's a race against them. I love it.
Yeah, because like I said, the market's open, so I'm pretty sure many people are up for it. It's just that who who gets it first. So the work's been pretty high.
I bet it's been kind of stressful. You guys been working really hard for it.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of late nights.
How are you trying to make it like PUBG, like Call of Duty, like Fortnite, like Apex?
So
Where's this?
well, it's still in design. It's still in the first design. So nothing's final yet, but right now it kind of looks like a hybrid of PUBG and Call of Duty.
Okay, cool. 'Cause I like the Black Ops one.
Personally, I want like the UI elements to be a bit funky like Fortnite.
Yeah, I love Fortnite. I still play every other day. I
I
just
mean, I
can't stop.
personally have been a Call of Duty fan.
Oh, same. I play that too, and it's just bad. The PS5 is coming out next week. I'm gonna be playing that too. It's just too much
Next
fun.
week
Lucky.
already?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I pick it
time
up on
flies.
Thursday. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. I already have the
yeah.
PS5 controller. It's so cool.
You have the controller, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally buy one, but I'm 100% sure I won't find time to play it.
Exactly. It's like all the games that we buy and we never play on Steam.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then like escalated to an entire console. Like, I'm not wasting that much money.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's fine. Like even if you have a PC or a PS4 right now, it's still gonna go a long way. It's not like they're gonna stop making PS4
That is
games for now.
true. Yeah. But I just want
Bro.
that. I just come on, come on. It's also the first
Yeah,
console I
just
ever
showing
bought,
off.
like when it came out. Usually I just grab like a used one, but nah, this is the first time I'm like, this is it, guys. Release date. Give me that.
Yeah, sure. The only way I think I'm gonna play a like on the PlayStation 5, I'm like I told my girlfriend so I'm using her PlayStation 4 right now, and I'm like let me know if you get a PS5 on the whole.
That's awesome. We need to get her on for the next episode. But
I'm fine with it. Actually, what's funny is even I interviewed for them. You know, we both went in together,
oh
but
really?
yeah, but I didn't get it.
Oh, dang.
So I then landed my other first job.
Which is Yellow Desk Studios?
No, my first job was DevTouch.
Okay.
Yellow Disk is my current one.
hmm So, how was it working there? I saw you did like different mechanics, logic, UI programming, and all that stuff. Did you
Yeah.
learn that on the job, or did you know that beforehand?
So basically, I learned it on the job. Most of the things that I did was at least the UI stuff I knew already, but certain things. So my job there was, since they already had a functioning game, like so they didn't need gameplay programming done. They already had their gameplay. So my
Yeah.
job was actually, so since it's an online multiplayer, they didn't have a social hub, where you could add friends, send them requests for match play, maintain a friend list, or a community, a WhatsApp community or something like that. So I was in charge of making that module for them. So most of the stuff that for like I said, I had experience of Unity game dev. So making the UI part was easy, but the backend I had to learn Android. So I had to learn how to integrate certain APIs to send in the requests, receive notifications, and all
How
that.
long did it take you to learn that? Did you have to do a lot of like late nights studying Android stuff?
I did it on the spot though. Like I mean, I just figured I found out a way to use a certain it's basically something that Android uses for push notifications.
Hold on, let's start that again because it cut out some of the important parts that you said.
So
So,
I said that I learned it on the spot. So the tech was so Unity fortunately has a lot of third-party APIs that I can use. Like many companies make Unity SDKs for Android.
mm-hmm.
So I just needed to learn to use them.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a different experience. It was something other than gameplay.
Mm. But now, like for instance, this whole idea, for instance, studying that 72-hour blockchain hackathon thing, how do you guys make sure you retain all that knowledge that you take in for 72 hours? Because, like, yeah, how do you
Uh,
study?
so basically, are you just asking me in the case of blockchain, or is it anything new,
I
like
mean,
even in game?
anything, but I feel like that's a great example of how you were able to take something that you just learned and apply
So,
it to something. Yeah.
so the most important part is to know what you exactly want. So
Mm.
that would, you would avoid wasting a lot of time, reading unnecessary things that you're not
That
even
is
going to use.
true. Wow.
So, yeah, so
Been
you
there.
gotta, yeah, you gotta put in
My
the
mind
effort.
is so simple yet so I fail to do.
Ex- exactly. My suggestion would be rather than putting maximum effort on studying everything, you should put maximum effort on knowing what you want, and then particularly study that. And not just study. When I say study, it's not just go through the documentation and be like, oh, okay, this is it. I'll do this. But rather open the documentation or open some tutorials side by side. Just do it on the spot. I believe that if you do it on the spot, you would remember it rather than reading about it.
No, 100%. Reading stuff or even listening, it just goes in one ear, comes out the other one. But if I do it and I see it being done, I got you. I can do it, or I can at least figure it out on my
Exactly.
own. Yeah.
So the thing is, to put it in layman's terms, the best way is like for example, as a joke, I say the 4-year degree that I have in computer science helped me search Google better. And that was more than enough. Like if you know how to search on Google
No,
very
you can solve anything.
specifically, yeah, exactly. You can. It's a very good tool that I learned that people they don't appreciate that skill. That itself is a skill, to learn to know what to search.
No, it's true that like at some point you can be like, oh, you're just looking up the answer, and sure, but a lot of googling and a lot of like figuring things on your own is something that I notice not
Exactly.
everybody has. Like for instance, when I was younger, it's like I don't know how to do this. I'm gonna go figure out how to do it, and if that means like opening up my PlayStation, taking it apart so I can put it on my hard drive, I'll do all that. But like, oh, my
Yeah.
brother or sister, they'll be like, oh, the thing's broken. I'm like, okay, and they're like, can you fix it or can you figure out why? And I'm like, I mean, I can, but like, what can't you do the same for yourself? It's like it's what I did, and then it's just not normal for most people to be like, okay, this is what's wrong. Let me go look it up. Let me go find the parts. Let me go fix it.
Exactly.
It's
But
crazy,
that
but like,
isn't that how problem solving works, right? Like you need to know what the problem is.
that's true, yeah. But you also sometimes need to go and figure it out what it like. Yeah, that's why I like what you said. You just have to find out what you want to know and then go study that. You have to go figure it out. You have to go
I
put
mean,
some effort.
that's like utopia. Like I know it doesn't work always like that. You gotta do hit and trial, but in the best case scenario,
Yeah.
you can
Right.
always know what you want. Like for example, I told you, like if I want to if I want to know that, okay, I'm gonna shoot a gun, like I want to know how to push the bullet out.
Mm-hmm.
So
So how we gonna figure that out? Yeah. What we gonna do? Get
uh,
animations, art, assets.
especially in programming, there's like multiple answers to one problem, so it gets pretty confusing.
It is true. There's multiple ways to do it, but then as you learn, you understand that some are better like designed. So,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
True, true.
Some is easier to
Performance
read. Yeah.
optimization is something that a lot of newcomers don't, pay attention to.
That's a big one.
I've
How'd you learn that? Was it through like college, your work, or just like
No,
books
no.
like Clean Code?
Unfortunately, it was never through college. I learned it when I started working full time.
Mm.
Because and I told you right, everyone works here on the mobile platform.
Hmm.
So when you're developing for something that isn't as powerful as the console or PC, you gotta optimize the hell out of it.
And so, when you optimize it, is there like any procedures you follow? Is it like the book Clean Code? Like, how do you know what to optimize?
No, so it's basically depends on what you're working on. So the best practice would be always to avoid making your code too expensive,
Mm.
like avoiding loops or using more switch cases, which are pretty direct. Uh, so maybe you're using singletons, or the best ways, if you're in case of Unity, if you're using something like get component,
Mm-hmm.
and your project's pretty huge, and you know also that what you want, so there's no use for that get component. You can always assign it directly. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to look through your whole project unnecessarily. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
so
Well,
yeah, so
what are the little tips or hacks you have for like doing programming in Unity?
in case of UI programming,
Yeah.
like if you want to, yeah, so right on the top of my head, I just can't think of anything, but it's like if you're on UI and you want some animations or something, so you could always use something known as tweening.
Mm, okay.
So uh, if anyone who's hearing who doesn't know of it, I'd suggest to check it out. It's a very pretty good technique. It helps you avoid update functions. So it's going to be called just in one frame, and it's going to do the same task throughout the other frames in one function call.
Wow.
So like yeah, so there are many. It depends on the situation that you're in when you're optimizing. It might like if it's graphics, most people to make their materials in on their assets look pretty realistic. They try to take in shadows. I suggest that in 2D or on the user's perspective. If you think that's not required, you don't do it. It's pretty minute stuff that only you learn when you're making games and you want to enhance the performance on a low end device.
Mm-hmm. These are good tips. You only really learn that when you're making games. Like you can't really you can read about it, but if you don't do it,
Yeah.
it won't stick. Yeah.
I didn't even hear of about half of the things that I spoke of until I was put in a situation that the games become slower or it's not running in 60 FPS.
Mm.
So what might cause that?
And there you go. And then you find a solution, and you get better code, better
Exactly.
optimization. Yeah. Trial and error. That's the stuff where I'm at now, where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand how to do all this mechanic stuff. Now I need to understand how to make it perform better.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know that you're making progress, because mechanics, we can always learn, but these techniques are something people miss out.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Now I'm curious. Do you have any moments where you felt like you were like in a winter, like it was just like it was hard to get through stuff? You had so many struggles, or you were like dealing with like maybe not getting work right out of school. Like, do you have any moments like that where you just had so many obstacles?
Uh, Many actually. It depends.
Okay.
Are you talking about technical projects or just approaching game development as a career?
Approaching game development as a career, more like how you dealt with like mental health situation or like tough times.
Yeah, yeah, tough times. Yeah. So you could say I'm actually very fortunate. My biggest support has been my mother. So here, like having your parents support in such tough situations, it's pretty good, especially when you're in a field where it's very tough to explain to your parents itself what you're exactly doing.
Hmm. Just gotta show them Fortnite,
Yes.
or like just show them the money. Don't even show them the game. Just show them the money. Say, you
You
see
know,
this game? It made this much money. So
I mean, to be
yeah,
fair, like games are easier to explain than like what I do.
yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean,
you can point to the game, you know.
yeah, they're humans, mate. They aren't just cavemen. You just go, hey, game, that game.
yeah, it's
That
not.
is a game. I made
Yeah,
it.
I made it. People are playing it.
Yeah.
I'm making people happy, and it's bringing food on the plate. What's wrong with that? Like,
Exact. Oh, that's actually a very good way. I'm gonna quote you to people who are, having tough times telling their parents. I'm like, it's putting food on the plate. I'm making people happy. What else do you want?
exactly. What else you need? What? You're literally doing all the good things in life. In life,
Yeah.
you're
I
helping
mean,
others.
I wish I
Yeah.
knew of these few wise lines when I told my parents that.
I mean, I've been in situations, so I've learned what to say. But no, I mean, honestly, like actually, I kind of just thought of that right now. But in a way, you really are doing a lot of good things for people most of the time. If you work for a good
Yeah.
studio, you're really helping bring people together, like games where they,
Hmm.
if it's a good single player, you're finding a place for people to escape to help them like deal with like let their stress out, just relax. And
Exactly.
it's pretty tough job, so you're getting paid pretty good. And yeah, it's bringing food. Like honestly, it's one of the best jobs you can do. You get to play
Especially in
later, or
these times
yeah.
when Corona happened, I was like, this is the only industry that's gonna say, this is like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
everyone was like, oh, okay, everyone's home. The people that never played games even got their hands on games,
Mhm. No,
and everyone's
100%.
just like,
And actually, I
everyone got
think
first.
it's the best for the industry because of the corona. Now people working from home, so people now out with their families, and even if they do crunch or all that stuff, at least they're
Yeah,
home. They're safe. They're calm with their family. Because before it was more like,
yeah,
no, you cannot work from home because of, and I got it, like legal reasons, security, the game, the story. You can't let all that out. But
exactly,
now they're
exactly.
like, it's okay. We can do it. We can have safety precautions with
I
contracts,
mean,
and
many studios have even started, working from home full time. They're like
mhm.
they just dished on the office.
Yep, and
I
that's
mean,
because
it's cheaper.
exactly, yeah, the money.
Yeah,
Show them the money.
exactly.
It's
It's
cheaper.
always about the money.
It really is, though. It really is.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just the amount of coffee I drink every day. Like, yeah, that's enough to bankrupt some companies.
Damn, bro, how much you drink a day?
Like 5 cups
He's
What?
probably drinking
I
one
drink.
now.
on Fridays. Yes.
He probably is drinking one right now, and then some wine.
Wait,
No, I'm having
what?
tea.
That's a weird mix.
Oh no, it's just Ricardo loves his
Why?
wine.
It's in different moments.
Yeah, once while making the game and once after.
Yeah, especially if the game is not that good, you need a lot of wine. Yeah.
And even if it is good, you need a lot of wine.
Exactly.
Yeah, two different, very different glasses of wine though.
Yeah, what?
One's gonna have a beer glass with wine in it.
Oh gosh, I love white wine. White wine's really good. Rip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just record in case something good comes out.
Hey, yeah,
Just
dude.
add clips.
Yeah, there we go.
Clips. Work
Man.
meeting.
Work meeting. Good. Yeah,
Work
some
meeting
stuff.
podcast. Outro.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
That's pretty good, though. At least people get to know that, oh, these are how the meetings go.
That's true. It's a learning experience. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not all that
Yeah,
flashy, but
I have to say, especially in most courses at least, like the group, the teamwork stuff, like tools in general, and I think that's the part that's lacking the most in most courses.
Yeah.
Like many courses don't mention like version control or
ooh, that's a big
ways
one.
ways to work in a team
Version
overall.
control was something pretty messy even for me, man. I almost screwed my whole project with my whole team. uh,
Ooh.
just because of
You're faking
version
it till you
control.
make it. You're
I
like, I don't know how
mean,
to use it.
I mean, I wasn't in that case, but it was like a genuine mistake. I couldn't even make it, but I didn't even fake it at that point. Because it was at that point that I was like before pulling everyone's work, I pushed mine first, and I don't know, everything went haywire from there, and no one knew what the problem was, and we were up all night at the office thinking, why is it screwing up all the updates? So everyone's work just poof, and the next day they were able to pinpoint the system, and it was mine. That was my first job. So everyone just looked at me like the newbie messed it up.
Oh god, how did you deal with that? Were you like embarrassed, nervous?
I mean, yes, I was devastated. I was like, I was afraid of maybe a fight even break out, but I was
Oh,
like,
oh, dang.
because because it was like since I was the most junior developer there, even in the current company, I'm the most junior. So everyone's pretty experienced. So if they mess up, it's like okay, they somehow manage it. But if I mess up, it's just like I feel cornered.
Yeah,
So in
I get
that in
it.
that
You messed up.
situation, I mean, but honestly, it's after those mistakes that when you remember them, you're like, nope, you just got scarred. You're not gonna make that mistake ever.
Like we said, yeah, you get scarred. You remember that it happened. You're like, okay, let's not let that happen again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked twice before doing anything if there's an issue.
Guys, you remember what happened the first time, so I'm gonna be asking all the questions. Just bear with me, because I'm not getting this
Yeah,
wrong.
sure.
Hmm Well, that's a good one though too. It's like people should learn to, it's okay to ask for help or to get like a second opinion, just so you don't mess anything up.
Yeah.
I've heard that anywhere, like Naughty Dog 2, the guy we interviewed, Jack, he was like, yeah, like, I mean, I asked them for help and they were willing to help me, and they probably got annoyed, but it's like, I just want to make sure everything was right, because we're having.
That's actually a very good habit, like no matter how stupid the question. I mean, I have had the habit of asking so many questions. When I joined this studio, I told them I'm going to ask a lot of stupid questions, and even before asking a good question, I'd be like, I have a stupid question. They're like, yep.
Like, yep, but
But
ask away. Yeah.
yeah, because you're stupid for only a moment,
Oh, I love that. You are stupid for only a moment.
right? Because then later on, you might be helping some other stupid kid around the corner
Hey,
when they come
hey.
to learn.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's good. It's like just let go. It's put that like your ego away and just like ask the question. We're all just don't
Right.
know. We're all just trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, it really is kind of a shame because it really is just ego. Like honestly, you when somebody says, "Hey, like I don't know," it's you letting down, and being like, "I don't know," and then it's okay if you guys laugh at me, but just like let me know so we can all move forward together. And the idea is like, "Oh, he doesn't know." It's like, why even that mentality? It's like, "Oh, he doesn't know. Let's help explain it to him." Like it's this weird thing where it's like, "Oh, we got to feel better than people," and it's like, "Oh, he doesn't know. We know,and." No, no, no. And then don't feel afraid.
Yeah.
Just like, be the guy who's always raising their hand. I love
I mean,
this.
that's even one of the best reasons to work in the game industry because when you make a game, everyone works together in a team. So even if there's some kind of hierarchy, like it's not maintained. It's just like a fun bunch of people equally, sharing their inputs.
Mhm.
Unlike if you're in a corporate, you have certain like you have your seniors, you gotta act that way. You don't know who to approach, but like if
No, I
you're
agree.
working in a studio, you got your animators, your designers, everyone's just together fooling around with something that they love.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. That's why I love it. The game industry is the best. Game devs, woo, good life. But yeah. So Ritvik, this was awesome.
Exactly.
It's a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Congrats
Yeah.
on all
I
your stuff and faking it and
That's
making
good.
it. But I want to ask you if
I
you can
mean,
give it.
I'm not sure if that is actually good advice.
No, I mean, is any advice
Depends
really
on
good
how
advice?
much you fake it.
Yeah.
Depends on how much you fake it. Like if you know overall what you're doing and you get a position that you have to like stretch yourself a lot, it's good. If you have no idea what you're doing, like for real, then yeah, it's a problem.
There you go. This
Yeah,
man
I
out
guess
there.
it's true. especially for all the newcomers, because when you're in a situation where they'll be like, okay, this job is for someone experienced who knows this, who knows that, and you've been everywhere. You're like, everyone's asking experience. You don't have experience, so you got to make the experience for yourself.
There you go.
Yeah, I have to say those lists of requirements for positions are so intimidating when you're getting started. Like
Oh,
they ask
right,
for
right.
like 5 languages, like 2 foreign languages, maybe 3 or 4 frameworks, and like 3 methodologies and
And you're
whatever.
probably going to work on something even more different, and it's just going to be one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that a lot of it is just to have keywords for search algorithms. So
Yeah, true, true, true. This is something many people don't know, and that's why. And also, another thing is that when people start off, like what I'd suggest, someone starting off in the real world is that I've noticed lots of my colleagues, they have problems if they fail an interview, or the interviewer asks says something that they don't know about. They'd be like, oh, I don't know, but like you got to keep trying.
yeah,
In my opinion, the more amount of interviews you give, the more knowledge you gain, more than reading, because you know
agreed.
what. what
100%, dude. It's just keep putting yourself out there, gaining experience, and you'll learn a lot.
I,
Yeah,
I mean,
I have to say I got jobs where I said I don't know something in an interview. Like people respect that. Like you don't have to know everything. Like especially
exactly.
nowadays, it's not like mid 90s that you had to actually, open a book to
Yeah.
find out.
Now it's like they want to know what you don't know, and then
Yeah,
move
like
on with
if
that.
you know how to find out how to do something. Like I had an interview once
Right.
that
Right.
it wasn't a language I didn't program in, and like they just asked me to show how I would solve a certain problem. Like, and I got a call back because I
It's all
showed
the
how I
logic.
would solve it. Like they want to see how you think, not necessarily what you uh,
No.
what you know. Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, they want to know that you can actually go in there and think how to solve the problem, and not just know the answers to the interview questions. Because people can do that. They can
Yes. Oh,
practice,
yeah.
practice,
There's a lot
practice.
of channels on that.
Yeah. Take the time to actually learn how to do it and think through the process. Because I even heard Neil deGrasse Tyson, the scientist, who was like, it's always better to hire someone who actually goes up there and thinks about the problem and solves it and does all of it. Even if he gets it a little bit wrong, at least he understands the process. Where you get someone else who, yeah, sure, they got it right, but like, you want that guy, the guy who actually goes in and gets his hands dirty.
Right.
hmm On that note, I was going to ask you if you can give a challenge to the GameDev.tv community. All night.
Well, okay. Since this is well, to push graduates and everyone starting out new, the most common thing, the most I spoke of was about optimizing techniques in games. So if you're learning game development, I challenge you to find out and practice 5 different kinds of optimization techniques. May it be regarding graphics, UI, backend programming, anything. Just some way to make the game that you already have made even better.
Beautiful. That was perfect. That was literally the best. Like one of the best ways to phrase that challenge. Yeah, no, seriously, good job. And we
Thank
want to
you.
say thank you for coming on. You killed it, really big. Your story's amazing. Congratulations on everything. Keep it up.
Oh, you too, man. I'm
Yeah.
probably, I freaked out the moment you even messaged me. I was like, how the hell do you guys find me?
I
Because I mean, I keep up with the podcasts that you guys do, and I mean, I haven't heard all of them, but the most I've heard, I was like, okay, I know the kind of guys you interview. So I was like, why is he texting me? How does he even know me?
you're like, what? Me? You've done people
Yeah.
like Dog and Insomniac and everywhere.
Yeah. So
And
because
but
I'm like, I haven't made it yet.
yeah,
I'm
so I know, but it's the idea at the beginning of this podcast, the community podcast, was that it was for ways for the community to kind of like express themselves, to talk about their journey, their game dev experience, what they're like. So it doesn't always have to be like these big people, but the idea too is, yeah, we want to get these big people on to help inspire everyone starting out, saying, they also went through challenges. They also spent 10 years doing this. They've also failed and came back. They deal with their like
Right.
scheduling, like all this stuff, and it's
Right.
helping everyone learn. And so like I love the people who are making it, but I also want to hear from people who are like just starting industry or people who are
Right.
like yeah. So stuff like that. I just want to give a voice to everyone in this community.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It was a surprise. So thank you for having me over.
Of course,
I
man.
mean, it's still you guys have no idea. Like it's a big deal. Especially I told all my close friends, I'm like, this is a celebrity fame for game developers. Okay.
Oh,
So,
I make me feel like what this is. I mean,
man, no, I mean, seriously, you guys, the GameDev.tv community has been going on strong, man. I'm
yeah.
calling because I mean, it's still growing, and since you're bringing in people like new graduates and all, and also that it just raises the audience bar. So that's pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, that's my dream. I'm gonna get them to 1 million students. That's my vision for them.
All right, man.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you. And then the way we want to end it off is we'll just hand the mic to you. Basically, you just end it off saying any shout outs, anything you want them to follow you on. any
You
inspiration.
keep putting me on the spot, eh? It's
Yeah,
like
but
it's-
this is
it's
for
that-
you now to say whatever you want. You're like then this is for you. And then yeah, but yeah, so thanks for coming on and
Well, okay. Let's say if it's just for me, then if this is celebrity fame, then shout out to my mom, to my close friends, to my girlfriend, to everyone who's been supportive of me in this journey. And see where you got me. You got me on GameDev.tv. Yay!
well, that's it. Thanks for listening. You can find all GameDev.tv courses at courses.gamedev.tv/courses or in the show notes with a 10% discount. Get started with your game development journey today.